Hello everyone and welcome back to the coverage of the FIDE World Cup 2019. While things are heating up in the game for the finals, we also need to check up on the match Yangyi versus Maxime, Vachier, Lagrave. Two of their classical games ended in a draw, then two of their rapid games ended in a draw, and this is their fourth rapid game, the one with the shorter time format. Maxime won game 3 of the rapid section, and now Yangyi has the white pieces and he needs a win in order to equalize and go take this further into the tie breaks. So without further ado, let's check it out and see who claims the third place. Yangyi opens with d4. We have knight to f6, c4, g6, and the knight to c3. And of course d5, the Grunfeld Defense is on the board. Maxime yet again goes for his famous weapon. C captures, knight captures, and just e4 going into the main line. Knight captures, b captures, bishop to g7. With queen to a4 check, black needs to deal with this somehow, and we have knight to d7 and now knight to f3. Continuing development, black does the same, Maxime castles here, and now bishop to g5. And c5, the usual idea when playing the Grunfeld, you want to attack white's center with the c pawn with the bishop and force white to deal with this. We have rook to d1, getting the rook out of this nasty diagonal, also putting it on this very nice file. We have c captures on d4, c captures on d4, and now knight back to f6. And here there is a game where this position was reached. It was in the 2016 Women's Olympiad. Elizabeth Paetz had this position against Maria Carolina Lujan, and that game ended in a draw. But in that game, bishop to d3 was played. Here we have d5, and it is a new move in the position. But as you know, Yangyi really loves pushing pawns, so he's preparing e5. With bishop to d7, attacking use queen here on a4, and now queen to b4, going after the b7 pawn, and now queen to b6, working out for Maxime, as if captures, then he gets the very nice open file for his rook, and on the other hand, if the queen trade is avoided, then white could be in some trouble, as this king is still on e1 and the bishop still hasn't developed. So you here decides to trade. We have captures, a captures, and now e5. So that's those are very far advanced pawns, but it's only good if it's good. Here Maxime goes knight to g4, and now the question is, how do you defend the e5 pawn? Well, this is what you had in mind. He plays e6 here. And, it just seems like in every game between you and the Maxime, use d-pawn and e-pawn are just marching up the board. And okay, Maxime captures it. It does seem to be a free pawn. And now comes bishop to c4. Now, hoping that if captures, then you can also pick up this pawn, as bishop will capture with check. But Maxime finds a very nice Zwischenzug. He plays bishop to a4, now forcing you to deal with the rook on d1. We have rook back to c1, and now even b5, pushing the bishop further back. Bishop to e2, and only now e captures on d5. And now Maxime is preparing e5, d4, and with this kind of pawn mass in the center, he would just be winning. So the question is, can you grab the e7 pawn? If he can, it's great. If he can't, then after this pawn moves, it's just going to be an overwhelming position to deal with. Maxime still has the bishop pair, the semi-open file for his a8 rook. It's hard to say, can you capture the pawn, but you need the win. So he doesn't want to allow e5. He grabs it, not with that, but with the bishop. Bishop captures on e7. We have rook to e8 by Maxime, attacking the bishop, and now bishop to g5. The problem for white is that his king is still on e1, and you can't really castle, as the bishop would be hanging here. So we have b4. Clearing the b5 square for his light square bishop. Now comes king to f1. You have to unpin if you don't want to allow this. But now comes something Maxime had planned, and the white bishop captures on e7 essentially doesn't work. So feel free to pause the video here and try to find the winning move for Maxime in this position while I give you a couple of seconds. For those of you who were able to do it, congratulations on being such an excellent exchange sacrificer. And for those of you who just want to enjoy the show, it's rook captures on e2. So it doesn't matter if the king unpinned, the idea still applies. If you don't want to be down a piece, you have to capture the rook. So king captures on e2, and only now bishop to b5 check. So what do you do here? King to e1, and here Maxime just played bishop to c3 check, and it was in this position on move 24 that Yangyi resigned the game, and it is Maxime Lagrave who claims third place at the FIDE World Cup 2019. And with this, he will also be taken into consideration as the wild card for the FIDE 2020 candidates tournament if he doesn't qualify through the FIDE Grand Prix. But you know, it's always good to have more chances, as 2 years ago he really got he didn't manage to qualify for the candidates tournament, and he almost qualified by rating, almost qualified through the World Cup, almost qualified through the Grand Prix. It was just a really bad luck for him. So very exciting to see that he's doing well now. And of course, White resigned here as there is nothing more to do. White is in check. You cannot go anywhere on the light squares. You could block bishop d2. That doesn't work because of rook to e8 check. You're gonna go king d1, and now bishop to a4 check. You don't have a move. You have to give up the rook. But then black can choose. Does he want this rook? Does he want this rook? Check. King c1. You're just gonna grab this one for free. This one falls next. Complete massacre here. On the other hand, if you don't block, if you play something like king d1, it's even worse. Knight captures f2, check, king c2, bishop d3 with check, king b3, and now of course rook to a3 is checkmate. Very nice stuff. And lastly but not leastly, if you want to give the exchange back with rook captures on c3, just b captures on c3, and okay, you've given back the exchange, but black will have an easy win. The rook is coming down here. Once you consolidate, you're gonna start pushing your c pawn. You have two connected pass pawns in the center of the board, while white still has problems getting his rook into the game, completely winning for black. So you of course knows this, and after bishop to c3 check, he resigns the game. So very interesting stuff, and a lot of you have been asking how does the whole qualification for the candidates work. Well, it's a very complicated process, but basically it's Yangyi who qualifies through rating, and there's a lot going on that whole story. As Maxime, I think he would have to win 27 rating points up until November, so he could qualify by rating. Even though he's higher rated than Yangyi, his average over the past 12 months is lower than Yangyi's. But then again, there's this thing where Yangyi had to play in the Isle of Man chess tournament, and then he said that he will not play there. But there's no good punishment for not playing, because Yangyi will now not play any classical games, so he doesn't lose ratings. And it says after you register for the tournament, you cannot abandon your registration and say I'm just not going to play the tournament. You can only do it, they say, if you've qualified for the candidates tournament through the World Cup, where that's not the case with Yangyi. So it's interesting to see what will happen. Will he be fined in any way? Will there be a punishment, or will they just look the other way? Always exciting stuff in the chess world. But yeah, that's the game. I do hope you enjoyed it. I would like to thank Ferdinand, Albin, and Linus Ryan, and Charles Schroeder for a contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot, I really appreciate it. As usual, you can check two of my previous videos here. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon to continue in the coverage of the FIDE World Cup, checking up on your suggestions, and so on. So thank you all, I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.